G'day mates, Jackaro Toro here. There is a referendum coming up in Australia on the 14th of October. Now this is not the type of thing I usually talk about on this channel, but this particular referendum would seem to be relevant. It is the Australian Indigenous Voice Referendum, suggested by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in March of 2023. And we have here the question that is asked to the Australian voters. So, to alter the Constitution to recognize the First Peoples of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice. Do you approve this proposed alteration? Yes. So in Australia it's compulsory to go and vote. If you don't go and vote, you get a fine in the mail. So I've heard. It's not a very hefty fine, but still, you are expected to go and vote. And to vote in this case about whether to change the Constitution. And here in red we have what would be inserted into the Constitution should this suggestion be approved. So, Chapter 9. Recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. In recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of Australia, 1. There shall be a body to be called the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice. So essentially we are talking about an Indigenous Parliament. 2. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice may make representations to the Parliament and the executive government of the Commonwealth. That would be the Commonwealth of Australia in this case. On matters relating to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. So the federal government and the federal parliament would consult with the voice on matters relating to Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders. That's what this says. And 3. The Parliament shall, subject to this Constitution, have power to make laws with respect to matters relating to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice, including its composition, functions, powers, and procedures. And a number of what they call design principles have been formulated. Design principles that will guide the work with creating legislation concerning the voice, should this be approved by the Australian voters. To be precise, there are 8 such design principles, and I thought I'd read them to you. So, the voice will give independent advice to the Parliament and government. Yes, we have already seen that. That is what this is all about. 2. The voice will be chosen by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people based on the wishes of local communities. 3. The voice will be representative of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, gender balanced, and include youth. 4. The voice will be empowering, community-led, inclusive, respectful, and culturally informed. 5. The voice will be accountable and transparent. 6. The voice will work alongside existing organizations and traditional structures. 7. The voice will not have program delivery function. What does this mean? This means that the voice would be able to suggest improvements on programs and services directed towards Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders, but the voice would not manage money and deliver services. That would make it different from the Sami parliament we have here in Sweden. The Samis are spread out over 4 countries, and in 3 of them we have Sami parliaments these days. That would be in Sweden, Norway and Finland. There is no Sami parliament in Russia. And here in Sweden, I'm sure things work differently in the different countries, that the Sami parliaments are organized differently. But here in Sweden, the Sami parliament is essentially a government agency. They have a budget and they are supposed to use their money to promote Sami culture, Sami cultural activities, and Sami languages, and different types of activities and so on relating to the Sami languages. And we have the parliament with elected people. And this creates a strange situation at times, where we have people who are elected, who represent different Sami parties, which have agendas that may go against what they are ordered to do and expected to do by the Swedish government. So yeah, that's a bit odd. I think that is not then how it would work in Australia, should this be approved. Anyway, we have gone through 7 of the 8 design principles. The last one is the following one. The voice will not have veto power. And it is suggested that the voice consists of 24 members elected by local and regional elected bodies, as they write. What that would mean in practice, of course, remains to be seen. First, we need to know what the result is in the referendum. So in order for this to be approved, it needs to be approved by what they call a double majority. So what is that? Well, first of all, this suggestion needs to be approved by a majority of the voters. So that's one of the majorities. Secondly, it needs to be approved by a majority of voters in at least 4 states. For reference, Australia has 6 states and 3 federal territories. And it is a fact that the vast majority of people live in the states. And in fact, if you look it up, you will discover that almost 80% of all Australians live in the 3 eastern states, where the climate is best suited for agriculture. So that would be Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. So that's the double majority. Will it be approved? What I hear when I'm listening is that maybe it won't be. What do I think? I think that this would be a good way to recognize that in fact there are other people than those that dominate Australia at present that were there first. I think this would be good, not the least because these original inhabitants were really poorly treated in colonial times. In this context, I would like to recommend Paul Kelly's song, Special Treatment, from 1988. I will link it in a pinned comment below. The lyrics of that song express really well what life was like for Aborigines in colonial times. So I hope that it will be approved. What I hear is that it possibly won't be. Anyway, before I finish, perhaps a little bit of background here might be interesting about what has gone before this. In 2008, the government of Kevin Rudd asked the Australian Human Rights Commission to develop an elected Indigenous representative body. And this was announced towards the end of 2009 as the Nation Congress of Australia's First Peoples. Yes, well, this did not become a success though, because fewer than 10,000 people signed up to elect delegates to this Congress. And in 2013, the Abbott government cut off the main funding for the Congress, but actually it didn't disband until 2019. So that is 4 years ago. And in March of 2023, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese suggested this change to the Constitution. And as I record this, the 14th of October hasn't been yet, so we will see what the result will be. If you have seen my videos before, you know that I will be back. So, see you later.